So Andy Cohen is revealing that they are currently considering a new city for the Real Housewives franchise. And he dropped a little tea that they will be talking about Mary Cosby and her possible affair with Cameron. Welcome back to the Kempire Daily YouTube channel, where you get daily and consistent hot topics in music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So Andy Cohen does something over at Watch What Happens Live where he goes out to the audience and he allows them to ask him questions. So he was asked a whole variety of different questions recently. And the way they edit this, it's not just one particular day, it's a few different days, and they just kind of put them together. So he's asked a lot of questions about the Real Housewives franchise. How do they cast for this? You know, how do they find the certain cities? He reveals that Potomac was where a production company brought these cast of women to him. So he gives us insight into that. As you know, they're working on a new city outside of the United States, the Real Housewives of Dubai. And he hints at possibly working on another city, not necessarily abroad. He didn't reveal the city because he says more than likely it will happen. So when he was asked a question about, you know, what will be the next city, he didn't want to say, because more than likely we're going to get it and it's going to happen. That's exciting. Along with that, he dropped some more tea in regards to what's happening with Mary Cosby. But before we get into that, he talks about Jill Zarin. So I think the reason why Jill Zarin has not been brought back to the show in such a long time was because she was held behind the scenes. I'm saying that because based off what he said, because he says that a lot of times at the reunions, Jill, specifically with the Real Housewives of New York, if she wasn't sitting next to him, she even threatened to not be a part of the show and walk off the show. I think it was that type of behavior that resulted in Jill not coming back. As you know, Jill will be a part of the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Season 2. And if she does well on that, I think that's going to be like the new transition show for housewives that have been problematic. So don't be surprised if you see Kelly Dodd on Ultimate Girls Trip. So he also revealed that RuPaul's Drag Race was a show that they were offered and it was shopped to them, but they passed on it because it was a little too similar to Project Runway. As you know, RuPaul's Drag Race has gone on to win multiple Emmys, multiple spinoffs, and it continues to do well. It's one of those shows that I've never gotten into. I know it, but I've just never gotten into it. But it's hugely popular. So I'm sure that is a big regret for Bravo, but they're doing well in other ways. And speaking of doing well in other ways, as you know, the Real Housewives Salt Lake City reunion will be airing this Sunday. And there's a lot to talk about. But Mary Cosby did not come to the reunion. And as you know, Andy Cohen revealed in previous interviews that he spoke to Mary Cosby New Year's Eve. Earlier in the day of New Year's Eve, and he said he had a very long conversation. He wouldn't say the amount of time he spoke to Mary Cosby. He said it was just a very long conversation. He says that he had a sense that she wasn't going to come to the reunion, but he said after their conversation, she texted him afterwards, and she said, you know, I appreciate everything that you said, and she's still considering things. And he says if he had spoken to her maybe a couple of days earlier, maybe she would have attended the reunion. Not sure, but if you watched the season finale of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, you kind of had a feeling on why Mary Cosby checked out and did not come to the reunion. We all thought it was because she didn't want to answer the questions about some of the problematic things that she said during the season. But no, when you look at that last episode, you're like, oh, we kind of get it now. But he says, despite Mary Cosby not being at the reunion, they do talk about an alleged affair that Mary Cosby had with Cameron. And we know that this was revealed from other platforms with interviews from cousins and all kinds of relatives from Mary Cosby's family that made these accusations. And that was the reason why a lot of us were saying that's why she didn't show up to the reunion. She didn't want to answer those questions. But I could see Mary Cosby saying, that's not even true. Or where did you get your information? I can see her. She did that in the entire season. She's never really run away from that. And then maybe all of us would have gotten something Louis Vuitton or Versace. I don't know. But Andy Cohen does say that they do talk about this at the reunion. I don't know how I feel about them discussing Mary Cosby at the reunion and she's not there, but that's Mary Cosby's fault. That's Mary Cosby's fault. She could have came to the reunion and really defended herself, but she chose not to be there, so they're going to talk about it. However, I do say them talking and showing up at her church for season 3, no. She's not on the show anymore. Leave it alone. And yes, I've heard all of the new accusations coming out about Mary Cosby's family, and those are damning. I got to do my research. I got to, sit and let it all marinate before I report on it. But stay tuned. Guys, what do you think about this news? Are you excited for a new city of the Real Housewives franchise? And where exactly do you think it should be? Should it be here in the United States, or should it be another one abroad? And are you excited for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion? Let's continue the conversation below. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Thanks for watching.